The Old Bridge. The Old Bridge feels like it's a very underappreciated episode. In this episode, Skarloey gets into a near-death accident on a bridge. After this, he's scared to go back on the bridge when he needs to retrieve the workmen's freight cars. Later in this episode, Rheneas breaks down on the bridge, and Skarloey has to rescue him. He overcomes this PTSD and saves Rheneas. So, I see a lot of people hate this episode because of the fact that Skarloey is out of character. I get that he's over a century old and stuff like that, but people don't seem to realize that PTSD is irrational. You may be a very wise and courageous person, but that doesn't mean you're mentally flawless. And because of that, this episode is very much worthy of being number 5 on this list. Chickens to School. Some people may think this episode is quite dumb, and it might be. But this one has a very good reason for being on this list. This episode is actually very relatable, as it focuses on a topic any high schooler knows all too well: sleep deprivation. In this episode, Thomas is extremely tired, and he is given 3 jobs: take sheep to the market, chicken to the farm, and children to school. Thomas is offered help by the other engines, but refuses after Gordon says that useful engines don't need help. Thomas's tiredness causes him to get very confused, and he ends up bringing sheep to the market, children to the farm, and chickens to school. Is this episode unrealistic? Yes. Is it practical? No. But it's relatable and genuinely funny. This is likely the best episode of Season 8 and very much deserves spot number 4 on this list. Percys New Friends. If I were to describe this episode in one word, that word would be deep. We all might be aware of the 3 strikes formula, a very creative writing technique that is seldom utilized in the show. But what's extra creative about this episode is that it has 3 redemption arcs within those 3 strikes, making it have a net gain of 0 strikes. Percy wants to make friends with animals, but every time he tries to, they run away, being scared of him. After Gordon scares Percy, Thomas enlightens him that he wasn't meaning to scare him. Percy realizes that he needs to be quiet, and that allows him to make friends with those animals. A very creative episode, and one that competes with the classic series in terms of quality. Skarloey the Brave. One thing that Skarloey is known for is being brave and courageous. This episode is incredible at showing that. In this episode, Skarloey is basically trying to prove to the others that he is brave. He gets himself pulled up a winch, which is very brave. The winch does break, and he goes down the hill very, very, very fast. But if that isn't badass, I don't know what is. The Missing Coach. This was never actually adapted to TV, but it was planned to, so it basically counts. In this one, I think Donald and Douglas do things, but I can't remember because I didn't read the story.
"Pah!" said Gordon. "What's this? Educating Gordon Day?" "Of course it is," interrupted Henry.